Good morning, everyone. It's the Reverend Jendi Burwell again this morning. This morning in morning prayer, we had Micah 3. And I'm a real fan of the Old Testament prophets, particularly Micah and Amos. They said some stuff. They were quite direct in what they had to say to the kind of religious folk of the day. Had a lot to say about dishonesty and idolatry, kind of dating maybe like 700 odd years before Christ. So, back in ancient times, really, when you think we're 2,000 years, so we're looking at the better part of 3,000 years ago. These prophets were not wildly popular amongst the religious people, and some of them were really quite odd and strange, but oh my gosh, the things they said, and well worth a read. All of Amos and all of Micah. Today, though, we had Micah 3, so I'm only going to share Micah 3 with you. And I'm reading from the Message translation, or technically the Message paraphrase. So it's a more modern, it's a couple of decades old now, but more modern, but it is a paraphrase, not technically a translation. So if that bothers you, look it up in a different version if you want. But it's quite direct, and I love them. Some of what they have to say is really cutting, to the church, to religious folk, to church leaders, and to people who think they've got everything kind of figured out. Maybe that's why I like it so much. But anyway, a wee taste. Micah 3. Then I said, "Listen, leaders of Jacob, leaders of Israel. Don't you know anything of justice? Haters of good, lovers of evil, isn't justice in your job description? But you skin my people alive, you rip the meat off their bones, you break up the bones, chop the meat and throw it in a pot for cannibal stew. The time's coming, though, when these same leaders will cry out for help to God, but he won't listen. He'll turn his face the other way because of their history of evil." Here is God's message to the prophets, the preachers who lie to my people. For as long as they're well paid and well fed, the prophets preach, "Isn't life wonderful? Peace to all." But if you don't pay up and jump on their bandwagon, their "God bless you" turns into "God damn you." Therefore you're going blind. You'll see nothing. You'll live in deep shadows and know nothing. The sun has set on the prophets. They've had their day. From now on, it's night. Visionaries will be confused. Experts will be all mixed up. They'll hide behind their reputations and make lame excuses to cover up their God ignorance. But me, I'm filled with God's power, filled with God's spirit of justice and strength, ready to confront Jacob's crime and Israel's sin. The leaders of Jacob and the leaders of Israel are leaders contemptuous of justice, who twist and distort right living. Leaders who build Zion by killing people, who expand Jerusalem by committing crimes. Judges sell verdicts to the highest bidder. Priests mass market their teaching. Prophets preach for high fees, all the while posturing and pretending dependence on God. We've got God on our side. He'll protect us from danger. Because of people like you, Zion will be turned back into farmland, Jerusalem end up as a pile of rubble, and instead of the temple on the mountain, a few scraggly scrub pines. Let's hear what the Spirit is saying to the church and to all of us. I leave that reading with you, and if anyone wants to discuss it or ponder about it, nearly 3,000 years after it was written, when perhaps and absolutely it is still incredibly relevant. Anyhow, God bless. Have a lovely, lovely Wednesday.